dare to do crazy projects because when you throw yourself out from like a trampoline or something, like you I don't know, but there come fantastic things.
Welcome to the Rogue Academic Podcast. This lady's larger than life personality and inspirational amount of talent need no introduction. But if you're looking for some great advice on starting a project or getting yourself out there, you're going to dig this episode. Enjoy! Well, I am delighted to have with me today the absolutely indomitable, inspirational Gunhild Carling, star of stage and screen, both online, offline, and everything else, right? Instrumentalist of 20 different instruments, and most recently backed up by the Basie band. You just got off tour with the Basie band, yeah?
Yeah, hello, thanks for having me. I
At,
just came home from a tour in Europe.
was it all of Europe? Did you make a big loop? Like, where did you go?
First we did 4 shows in London and 2 concerts in Sweden, and then 3 shows in Germany, 1 in Switzerland, and 2 in Italy, and that's it.
Wow. So are you a polyglot? Do you speak all of those languages? I know you're from Sweden originally.
So I speak German and French, and I have studied Latin and Greek. And a little Italian. But when we were in Italy, I was talking English. I was
Oh,
speaking English in the microphone.
right on. That sounds both inspiring and exhausting being in that many towns in that short a time. Because how long was the tour?
The tour was 2 weeks,
That's a lot.
and yeah, so it no, but it was very smooth. We played, and there were good hotels, and then we went to the next place. Or what? So the only struggle is to fly because I have so many instruments and
Yeah.
charts and scores and merch and everything. So to get all my bags on a plane is like a challenge every time.
Oh my gosh. Do you have
What
like
else
your
than
own
that?
personal assistant that just like carries your stuff?
No, I have put that on very fantastic musicians in the Basie band that helped me.
Oh, that's so nice. So you
Mm,
carry 20 instruments with you then. I've always wondered about
mm.
that because I've seen you online for years now. And I was just like, man, is she schlepping that much gear from place to place to place?
Technically, I on this tour it was the trombone, 3 trumpets, bagpipe, recorder, harmonica. So it's small instruments.
Oh,
Like
okay. So
I
no
didn't.
double
I mean, I
bass.
I didn't bring a double bass or a orchestra harp
Oh my
or.
gosh. That's amazing. Like who travels with an orchestral harp, you know? Other than harpists, of course.
It would have been very great to
It would.
play harp and do like some harpo marks stuff, kind of. But
Yeah.
next time,
Yeah, there you
if they
go.
hire me back, then I will bring my harp. Don't say it to
Absolutely.
anyone.
So, how long have you been doing sort of the road multi instrumentalist thing, or did you start as a professional on just one instrument?
So everything has to do with what ensemble you play. And
Mm,
so when you play in a New Orleans ensemble, which is like 3 horns, I
mm,
play mainly trombone or
mm.
trumpet. But then it has become like I play recorder, and then I do one solo on harmonica, and I sing and I tap dance, and you need a tap board, and I play harp.
Uh-huh.
And so I try to bring as many instruments as I can.
Yeah. So, I read in an interview as I was doing my homework. I'm trying to be a good interviewer because I'm new to this. That you started performing professionally when you were 7. How did that work? What was that like?
I played with my family,
Uh-huh.
but I was a lot on TV.
Oh, you were
So
not on TV or you were on TV?
no, I was on TV a lot.
Holy
So
cow.
yeah, so it was like I played a little on TV, and then we did some festivals because I'm very niched. Actually, I play New Orleans jazz and early swing.
Okay.
Like that's what I play.
Yeah. That is extremely like specialized for sure. So it was the family band then that was on TV. Was it like an Ed Sullivan thing or like
Yeah,
public
in
programming?
Sweden.
Okay.
In Sweden and Europe. So it was all kinds of performances. But
Okay.
since I play trombone and I was 7 years old, I just play and yeah.
Oh, okay. So, being that you were playing from such a young age, I mean, I come from a family of musicians as well. I can't remember a time in my life where I couldn't read music. Did you grow up reading music, or did you learn to do that later?
No, it's all improvised. And this typical, when you play the old style of jazz, you listen to records and you play what you hear. There are no written music involved
Got it.
because it shall go like from the inspiration you feel when you hear the music directly to what you perform.
Oh, I wish I had had
Uh,
that. I struggle
so,
improvising because I get in my own way with notation. I see the notes in my head, and so as an improviser, I tend to get in my own way because I'm thinking about note, 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 note instead of just playing what I feel.
exactly, because this old, we call like the trad jazz. It's like you have phrasing and you have phrasing from the big heroes,
Hmm.
and then you try to play those phrasing, and then when you feel, then you mix everything up and you try to build something new that is your own. So you hear Armstrong play rap. Okay, so then you play this and you shall like capture the whole vibe of the and you must have a tone, a jazzy tone. So on trumpet, because I have this, okay, I'm very nerdy, but I have this trumpet from 1957. It's a Selmer. It's
Hmm.
the same trumpet as Louis Armstrong had, and
Ah,
it it had, yeah, same model,
so cool.
and it has this tone of Louis Armstrong in. It is in the trumpet. So when I play, it sounds a little like Satchmo. It's fantastic.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
Um,
it's amazing.
I used to work for a trumpet retailer, a couple of them, and one of them happened to deal in vintage horns and things. And like, there are a lot of people who search out like a certain model to sound like a certain player. And I think there are a lot of people that are like, well, just go listen to recordings, and it doesn't matter what horn you play. But you really feel like the horn makes the biggest difference, or is it like a combination of what's in your mind and the horn?
The horn makes a difference.
Okay.
An older horn had a higher percentage of tin in comparison to brass, so they have a different tone. I might be wrong on this, so you have to double check it with them.
No,
If you
it's
hear this,
fascinating.
double check it with uh, with a trumpet maker. But this is so they sound a little
Uh
different.
huh.
And what you want in a horn is that the horn sings. So you, when you play, it's not me, it's actually the music sings itself already when I start to play. And then okay, so you fall in love with the horn when you play it
Yeah.
because it answers to you with a, you play something, but the horn answers something beautiful. And then, yeah, it's my horn.
Heck yeah. That's so relatable. That's so relatable.
Yeah.
So do you feel that way about all of your instruments then? Like not just the trumpet? Because I am super nerdy about my trumpet, but I am only a trumpet player. I mean, I play enough piano to kind of get by, but I don't consider myself a multi-instrumentalist. Do you feel that way about all of your instruments?
With all my instruments, it's like
Wow.
I am, it's like you're married to your instruments.
Yeah.
And when you, so I had a piano, but that was in Sweden, and every time I passed this piano I felt like an excitement, and I was like I felt so much only while passing it, so I had to sit down and play this piano because the instruments, it's weird, they have a soul.
They do. They very much do. I have a piano that was given to me by my grandmother, and it was her mother who bought it so that she could learn on it, and then she taught my dad, and then I taught myself on that piano. So now it's been through 4 generations, and you are absolutely right. It definitely has a soul. Every instrument, I think, does have a
Yeah.
soul.
And it doesn't, it's not always compared to the price of the instrument because sometimes, I bought an cheap electric keyboard on, yes, it could be a Target or something like that.
Yeah.
And I felt when I played it, wow, I feel so the most important thing is that you fall in love with the instrument, and then there is you can just play.
Yeah. Do you feel like because you play so many instruments, do you feel like it's that love that just propels you to play all those instruments all the time? Is it a challenge to practice all of them? Like, I feel like I have a lot of time that I spend keeping up just my trumpet chops, and I can't imagine what that would be like multiplied by 20.
You know, I see that you must have a tone on every instrument, and you can, like the vibrato and how. So there are overtones in the tone, so you talk with the instrument like, yeah. It's I must say that the instrument must have a tone, and um, they also have different feel and vibe on these instruments. It's like the bagpipe is raw and rough
Hmm.
and doesn't have a vibrato because the air does you don't create the air, it comes from a bag
Hmm.
actually. So that is something different, and with the recorder you are completely in control with the tone.
Right.
Although it's like two very primitive old instruments, like they are 1,000 or 2,000 years old.
Yeah.
And then you have the trumpet. I would say the most difficult is trumpet, because there are levels you must reach as a trumpet player. You must know the melody, you must present the melody and give it to the listener. You cannot just play. You have to give it to the listener, and you must also have high notes and a little certain techniques. And you must be able to like lead the whole band with your so it swings when you play. Bap, bap, da, 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 da. Like, so you are you are automatically a leader of the band when you play the trumpet, because you have to serve the melody, you have to nail the high notes in the end. So I would say it's a real profession. It's a real profession to
I
be a trumpet player.
I 100% agree. I've spent my whole life on that one instrument, and I can't imagine having learned other ones and be able to do what you do so authentically on every single instrument. I have enough struggles with one.
Yeah,
um,
but I must say that included in the work of being a trumpet player, you must play the melody
mhm, yeah,
and lead the whole, set the vibe.
yeah, absolutely. So tell me a little bit about your family band. You said you were on television when you were just 7. Was like number one, how did that come about? And two, do you feel like that was like your big break necessarily, or like tell me some about the backstory?
Yeah, so since we go back to the 1980s now, and everyone had to be like, people were thinking differently back then. It was more control, that you were like that people were more like the same, and so when we talk about Sweden,
Mm,
so girls didn't necessarily play trombone, and no kids played old jazz or modern jazz.
hmm,
So my thing is that I just play what I like to play and what I love to play. And that was back then so rare, because everyone was like, they felt forced to be with it, and you had to dress like everybody else. So if
mhm.
you were a little different, I mean, you and I also no, yeah, you were different, and and I was very much into it. So this was very important to me to play this old jazz, and nobody else did it. So that wasn't like an open field for me and my
Yeah.
family. I have three siblings
Uh-huh.
and two parents, and we were a band. And my father was very strict. We play like it's Armstrong, Jelly Roll, Fletcher Henderson, and So we studied the origin of jazz,
Yeah.
because yeah. Bessie Smith and all this.
Absolutely. And so jazz, I mean, we know is an American idiom. Is there also Swedish jazz, like in that same style, like from that same era, or no?
There is.
I didn't know that.
I no, they had dance orchestras. So
Mm.
in big cities like Stockholm, Copenhagen, they had dance orchestras that played jazz, and it's very fantastic music, but it's more sounding like if you think like Gene Goldcat Orchestra, the Chicago sound,
Uh huh.
because they had violin and three saxophones and banjo and this whole thing. Great music. So that was Sweden in the 1920s.
Mm.
That is nothing that I am related to because they died and this style died out. And in the 30s, swing took over, and then came bebop, then came rock and roll, and then when I was a kid, it has started a big movement in Europe about that, a protest against like um, not a protest, a little protest against like the big super pop stars, and also a little protest against like that modern jazz was so intellectual and more like for few people. So this big movement started that you should have festivals in New Orleans style with the original jazz,
Hmm.
and with no stars, like not no Louis Armstrong that stands in the front and just nailed the pop hits.
Mm-hmm.
No, you shall play these old like like Buddy Bolden blues and all these songs,
Mm-hmm.
and all these festivals, they didn't build on one special star, so
Mm-hmm.
you didn't have a headliner like no headlining star. It was just New Orleans Jazz Festival with a lot of musicians. But and there was once again, but because the audience they like stars,
Yeah.
and I was a kid, so they had. I mean, it was forbidden with like a big name or a star, a superstar, a diva. But
Mm-hmm.
they. So, but I was a child, so automatically I was like a star.
Oh, okay. That makes a
Yeah,
ton of sense. So you were saying also something about the conformity of the 80s. So I was born in 84.
conformity,
Yeah.
conformity. Yeah,
And
that's a good word.
yeah, so I spend a lot of time like talking about this with my fiance about sort of like what's going on with our, society in general, but I think in regard to being a female trumpet player, even to this day, there are like there's a certain sense of conformity, right? Like, oh, if you're a trumpet player, then you must do these things. There's certain expectations of trumpet players. Do you feel like
Exactly, expectations.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Like, so from your perspective, did you feel the weight of that early on, like when you were a child, or were you more aware of that a little bit later in your career?
No, because no, because I have been very true to old jazz, and that's a little different. So I'm so nerdy into this, and I'm very true to it. So
Sure.
I have never played like top 40s or anything like that. I have never been into the real, like, the professional trumpet player that can play everything from Haydn's trumpet concert to top 40. I never did that. I was very specialized in
Uh huh.
try to capture the vibe and the feel of the New Orleans and also the Chicago jazz. Because every city had their own sound. So New
Yeah.
York was one sound, and New Orleans one, Kansas City is one sound, and Chicago. And then jazz came to Europe, and Copenhagen and Paris and London. Those three cities have different sounds. So Paris, Django Reinhardt, Sidney Bechet, and so yeah.
Yep. So I've experienced being vibed by guys on the bandstand. But I mean, I sort of set myself up that way because I'm a high note specialist. I mean, I'm a lead player in a big
That's
band.
great. That's so cool.
Thank you.
Wow, the most important person.
I like to think so. No, I'm just kidding.
I know.
But I was
Now
just
I understand
curious.
why they talk so highly about you, because they were,
Aw,
wow, wow, she's great. Yeah, wow.
thank you. Um,
Yeah.
but do you feel like you experienced any of that, or because of your specialty being trad jazz, did you sort of like sidestep a little bit? You know, like maybe you didn't have those experiences because you were so specialized. What do you think?
Yeah, I think differently about. I try to think differently because if you have if you stay in a line and you're the last in a line, but if you create your own line, there is one and you are the first in your own line, so you shall create your own path. And there are, of course, things that I would say belong to jazz, the profession of being a jazz musician, and that is learn the songs.
Hmm.
So it's better to know 20 songs than zero songs. I mean,
Absolutely.
learn them, but learn the chords, the melody, and the lyrics.
Yep.
So whatever. So there is something that you must know as a jazz musician. In what I and then you of course must listen to the creators of this, they who invented style and tone and ensemble, and because every ensemble is an invention
Hmm.
of its own.
Yeah. So, um, do you feel like because you're a multi-instrumentalist and that you've specialized in trad jazz, do you feel like there's any pressure to perform like better or more thoroughly or more, I don't know, just more, I guess, than male counterparts? Because like I've experienced like a sense of, oh, I have to just be better and more accurate and be able to play better high notes more convincingly than male counterparts, or no one's going to take me seriously. Have you ever felt that way?
First of all, I must say that you are a fantastic trumpet player and so,
Oh,
but I
thank you.
no, I don't feel that way. If that's the case, it's not, I'm not knowing about it. It's under I mean, it's something that I might feel like that I don't know of.
Yeah.
Maybe it's my in my spine or something,
Yeah.
but I don't feel that. No, when I go up on stage, I look at the audience and I feel like, wow, we're gonna have a good time together. So what shall we start with? Okay, like let's start with Masquerade Ramble, and it's gonna swing. We're gonna have so good time together, and I am so into nailing the vibe. So I play cornet. So my main instrument is trombone, cornet, and trumpet,
Hmm.
and vocal. So I have a couple of songs that they're swinging. One is up tempo, a blues, a popular melody that everybody knows, like La Vie en Rose or
Hmm.
something like that. And then because I do so many things and I come from Sweden, I have a heavy accent, and everything is so like it's so many things going on. So I just to not make it like just like a mix of too many things, too
Hmm.
many notes, and too many instruments. I just go out from the vibe that I create here and now. And I want that vibe to be nice and fantastic. And I want everybody to feel good. And after 100 years or 120 years of this New Orleans related music that has gone out to R&B, and I mean all blues, everything modern jazz, and even rap goes back to this. So we have like thousands different styles now that all go back to this. So everybody could technically like anything,
Yeah.
but we must create a feeling. So it goes back to create a feeling, and then anything goes, like any song. It doesn't have to be that song or that song or that song. I try to avoid to play too many popular songs because I like the popular songs and the audience love them. But we are not a cover band. We are here and now, and it's not a museum. So this music I play, it's alive today because I and my friends play it and you listen to it. So Jazz is a music for 1,000 years. It will be those songs and this style of thinking that it will be around for 1,000 years. Let's say that.
Uh-huh.
So it's alive tonight because I am here and I'm not specially into that. Like, it's here and now. And it's not a museum, as I said before.
Yeah.
So it shall be very alive and people shall be engaged. And the audience shall really feel that this music was specially for me tonight. I was involved. I was included in the inspiration.
That whole statement is an inspiration. I was actually going to ask you about your feelings on the longevity of jazz a little bit later in the interview, but like you sort of got us there early. So I did my doctorate on big band music. I
Oh,
wrote a
how
practical.
fun life you have.
I know, it was awesome. I mean, really, I would gladly have done that research until I died. I
Yeah.
wrote a book of, it's a practical guide of terminology and symbols in big band music from 1957 to 75. No one's ever compiled them all into one book.
Wow,
I'm happy to
that
send you one, and I'll
is.
link it in the show notes.
I need that book.
I will
I
gladly send it
need
to you.
that
Get me your
book.
address. I'm
Yeah, I give
happy to
you my
send you a pic.
address.
Yeah, yeah. Happy to send you a copy. So I spent a lot of my time, looking over these charts and trying to find these terms and define these terms. And what I did in the book that is unique to the book itself is that glossaries just tell you what the term is and what it means. But I actually cited recordings that you can listen to that term because I meant it for people who don't play jazz, so they can look at a certain term and go, "Oh, well, I've seen that term before. Why is that different in jazz?" Well, go listen to the recording and then you'll find out why.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So the terminology is because we have to communicate
Yeah.
a language. So the terminology is very important. And I grew up, so Sweden we have like classical terminology. So I
Mhm.
had to relearn everything when I came here.
Yeah.
Like, so half diminished. We don't say half diminished in Sweden. We say 7 minus 5. No, minor 7 minus 5. We say the numbers minus or plus if they
Oh.
are yeah, flat or sharp or whatever.
Which in theory is a little bit clearer.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, yeah, and it has to be in a special order, and so
ah.
and it's a lot of Italian. We say, yeah. So I'm not done with learning the American terminology, but I mean, it's so great what the schools have done because jazz is the voice of the 20th century, and it shall have its terminology, its schools, and everything. It's
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I honestly could sit in a 3-hour podcast with you and talk about the
oh
importance
my
of jazz
God,
education,
yeah,
truly.
yeah,
But
yeah.
that was something I was going to ask you about is so you, like I only actually just learned today that you had started a YouTube concert series, basically like a Facebook and YouTube show. Is it Sundays at 8? Is it still like airing?
No, yeah, I because this summer and this autumn everything has just like exploded, and I'm here and there and here and there. I'm playing all the time, everywhere, and like my main work is doing concerts, and half of the time I shall be online because people they go out but they hang on internet and just must be present on internet.
Hmm.
And my life, my story of life was very much half of my life I spent on YouTube and Facebook, and I love to communicate with people there. Oh,
Hmm.
it's so wonderful.
Hmm.
So I shall start that again. That's the reason why I need my own club. It shall look like a red velvet and golden fringes, and there I am, and we celebrate a new jazz artist every day, and I put in some new, I compose some new, and then every Sunday I shall live stream, and it's coming up, but it's going to be next year because now it's I'm playing every day, and I'm going on tour with Postmodern and Jukebox, and then I just came home from this tour with Count Basie, and then I have my own band going on tour, and like it's a pattern.
Oh my gosh.
So
Yeah, yeah. No, and I love that for you and I love that for jazz because I being that what I do is extremely specialized, just like you, I don't get a chance to do it all that often because I live in a portion of the country that just doesn't have a whole lot of big bands or a lot of live music in general. So, what I was going to ask, like what I had planned to ask before was actually what your opinions were on whether jazz is a museum idiom, like oh, it's only ever going to be a niche thing, or if you view your performance as being influential in the perpetuation of jazz. Like, are you seeking to grow the jazz audience? I mean, obviously you've grown your audience, but growing the jazz audience and pulling more people into this art form that we both know and love.
Yeah, it's very important because jazz is the perfect. Uh, I mean, the instruments of jazz. You can play jazz everywhere. You can play it in the street. You can play it on a breakfast, on a restaurant. You can play it as a lounge. You can do a concert. You can play a big concert for thousands of people, and you can play for 10 people because jazz is like, it's the melodies, and it is this instrumental culture, that clarinet solo, and then you have a little break, and you have a shout chorus. So there happens a lot of things, and there is solos, and then there's like chase, and you play four bars each, and then it's piano solo, and so it's an instrumental explosion, and then you have the lyrics, all of me, why not take all of me, or whatever song you have.
Mm-hmm.
So jazz fits everywhere. I mean, it's hard to play rock on the street, or breakfast rock, or play. I mean, you need to set up the stage. You need a smoke machine and everything. We don't
I
need
was just going
anything
to
of
say, I
that.
don't think anyone's asking for a death metal brunch.
Maybe, we don't
You never
know. We
know.
don't know. But it takes so much to set the vibe for rock. Uh, I might be wrong, but for jazz, you just play the melodies, and you just play. Yeah, I mean, and now I'm into old. People has not heard, the people I play for. They have not heard Basie Street Blues, but it's so strong melody and good arrangement, and there's a little shout chorus in the end that I wrote now, and it's so there is happen things all the time, and you know, I just feel that people like it. They hear that, oh yeah, this is New Orleans music, but it's still alive, and that is very important. That I I play this music, and it's today, and you are invited.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Everyone is invited to jazz. And that's something that has made me like super grateful to have come to jazz later in life, because I feel like had I come to it earlier, I might not have such an appreciation for it. I started life as a classical musician, and then I transitioned into jazz as an idiom. So it sounds like you, though, have been in jazz your whole life. Like that has been like your chosen language to communicate with the world. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I like all kinds of music, and I have been playing, but I was playing at the opera in Gothenburg.
Mm.
And same thing there. You cannot take a symphony orchestra and sit and play in the street. The instruments cannot either take rain or sunshine, but a
It's true.
trumpet, so you play rap-a-dap-da-dap, ra-da-doo-doo-doo, wah-ba-ba-dip-doo-doo. Either sunshine or rain or snow, I can just play, and there is the melody, and you have like it's very optimal for all kinds of social, um, yeah, social meetings.
Yeah, absolutely. So in regard to how we experience jazz, I think it's wonderful that we can absolutely experience it in just about any setting, rain or shine. And
Mm.
trumpet especially, it's a rain or shine instrument. We don't care if it rains on us. It's plumbing, it's meant to carry water. But I think, and maybe I just have a different perspective on the educational side too. What are your thoughts on the way we teach jazz? Because in my experience, so one of my master's degrees is in jazz performance and pedagogy, the way we teach jazz. And in my research in that degree, and also in my doctorate, I came to learn that David Baker had basically taken this this art form that we learn by ear, and he had to
Mm.
justify it to folks that did not necessarily want it in the academy. They didn't think it was, an art form to be studied unless it was written down. What are your thoughts on how we teach jazz? Because a lot of people come to it by writing, but I personally would prefer to come to it by listening. What are your thoughts?
So it's unavoidable that you must. It's very. I mean, theory is very important.
Hmm.
So you must know theory. And my daughter, she studied at UC Irvine. And in all my life, I was just, we played the melodies and she played with me. But when she came to the school, she really learned the, the thing.
Hmm.
Like how to transpose, how to write an arrangement, which I have learned, but I have missed, I didn't teach my kids all this. But when she came to school, she learned it. And there is a knowledge that even if you're a fantastic musician, you cannot avoid theory. And then you can go more and less deep into it.
Hmm.
But it's, I say, the theory is power. If you if you know how to transpose and you know that every and you know how to transpose between the instruments for at least, and
Hmm.
you can write the score and you have this knowledge, it's very important. It's very important.
Absolutely. So
Mm.
what?
But
Oh,
what was your question? What can you
oh,
can you
no
ask your
worries.
question
No,
again?
I agree with you. Learning the theory side of
Yeah.
it gives you the power to be more creative, in my opinion. I think there are a lot of people that might think that, oh, because you're locked into all this theory, you might feel boxed in by all of this knowledge. And I think it actually gives you more room to be creative. I was curious about your thoughts on how we tend to teach jazz in school. I mean, we start with, chords and scales and melodies and all of that. But I was just curious what your thoughts on.
Yeah, yeah. The thing is, like, the colleges and so they have focused on modern jazz, so they have a different thinking. And what I is this like a scales and Locrian, Mixolydian, and so, um, and technically it is the same as what we do. Yeah.
Mhm.
Because how shall you write like a whole theory around the music? And so it's a fantastic thing. We jazz musicians, there is no we and them. So we shall like study each other and learn from each other because um, I think on these schools they have opened up now. So they study Jelly Roll and Louis Russell and all this. But there is so much pure gold in this old. So it shall be studied seriously and not be seen as like a lower class or something like that.
Yeah.
There is so much gold to find. So there should definitely be more uh, more deep study of the old jazz, like
Yeah.
trad. I call it trad.
Oh yeah, no, and I think a lot of jazz musicians would call what you're referring to trad jazz as well. I agree that there should be a bottom up approach to learning the jazz style because it does come
Mm.
from New Orleans and that is where the language originated. So if you're going to learn to play, Snarky Puppy and all of this modern jazz, you have to know something about trad jazz in the first place. And so like there are a lot of schools that do it from the top down. They start with the modern jazz that people are very interested in. It's very trendy, it's very cool. And then they use that as like a carrot to tempt people to get them to invest in trad jazz. So I was curious what your thoughts were on, teaching it by rote versus teaching it by writing it down, rote by ear, and then
Mm.
versus
Yeah,
teaching notation.
there is no such thing as inspire your student. So if I can inspire the student, everything will be done by itself.
Hmm.
Because if I shall teach you, for example,
Hmm.
I don't think I have anything to teach you, but
Oh, you
let's
have
say you are
plenty.
my student.
Trust me.
So the most important thing is like I inspire you
Hmm.
to feel that this is the thing, because then you will automatically just have the recordings going on 24/7. You will listen and you will feel that this I feel very good, and you will have it if you love it, and it's not just like yeah. You feel that it goes inside of you, in your heart,
Yeah,
under
I
your
like that
skin.
statement. If you have it,
Mm,
you will love it. And I think the other
mm,
is true. If you love it, you will want to have it, and so you will go study
mm.
it and go listen to it
Yeah.
and invest in it. I love that. So a little bit ago, we were talking about all of the things that you have coming up on your plate. You have
Mm.
your band's tour, you have some postmodern jukebox, you have all of these things. How do you juggle all of that and stay sane? Like, do you have a planner? Do you do yoga? Like, how do you keep your mind in all of those things and perform at such a high level?
Hmm. I don't know. I actually don't know, but the only thing I think about is like stay inspired. Always be full of inspiration and like love what you do, and so, because if I don't question anything that happens. Like I just, I mean, it's as soon as I start to question, what am I doing here? Like the whole thing is in vain.
Oh,
You must, yeah. So everything is like, because I'm not status driven. That's not my first thing, that it has to be like Metropolitan Opera, and it has to be like I must play with the famous. I play for people, and I want to be inspired. I have like, I have, I play for humans, and I like to see beautiful places. It can be anywhere. And it can be exciting to come to this place I'd never heard of before. Like,
yeah.
it's
That
not even on the map. I
right?
think can be very interesting.
No, I think that's a really important point though, because I think a lot of our listeners get into music, whatever music it is that they perform, and they think about like reaching or achieving a certain status, like a certain like
Mm?
notoriety or whatever it is. And I love that you say that you're not status driven, and I think like from the outside looking in, that allows you to be so much more free because you can chase the
Yeah.
inspiration, you can just chase the music. And I feel like maybe in America that's where we got it wrong, is that we chase
No, it's all over the
status.
world.
It's all
No,
over the world.
no, I would say all over the world, but no. Hmm. I cannot talk for 450 million people, but
That's fair. Me either.
um, America is, from my perspective, no, it's less status driven here, because I just play and people enjoy it, and one is rich and one is poor, and
Right.
it's a very uncomplicated social play here, and maybe it's more status driven in Europe. Maybe,
Hmm.
yeah, that but I am from Europe, so my family, and all this, like my whole social network was Europe
Yeah, makes
earlier.
perfect sense.
So maybe it's because I'm just here and having fun.
No, no, no. I
Because
mean, your perspective is worthwhile. It is because I mean, we are myopic in our own places, right? Like we have this centrist view of wherever we're from. I'm from America, therefore I think in an American centric way. You're from Europe, you think in a Eurocentric way. I think that's beautiful, and that's what makes us different, and that's a wonderful reason why we're having this conversation. Um and I think that a lot of people in my experience, that and it's not just jazz, I think it's music in general, we put all these like markers in place. Well, you have to play this arena and then you've really made it, or you have to have a gold record and then you've really made it. Do you have any of those
yeah,
goals for
yeah.
yourself, or because you are not status driven, you just play?
No, because the thing is, I believe in fate.
Ah,
So the good thing with aging is that every dream you had in time come true, but it doesn't come true today. when I had the dream, like, oh,
Mhm.
I want to be a superstar on the Madison Square Garden.
Ah.
One day it just pops up, and there you are, and they say, okay, go in and play in Madison Square Garden. Oh, okay, here I am. This was my dream. Okay, it happened today. And you know, I am that kind of person. I wanted to be married and have kids and a family.
Uh-huh.
Like everybody doesn't want that, but I wanted that. Have a little family and a little place to be, and so, and little garden and so. And I'm very thankful for everything. And I see it as, everything that came to me as like status when I was made it to the third place in Dancing with the Stars Sweden. So same
I
show
was
but
like, I
smaller.
didn't even know that. That's awesome.
No, they just called me because the story behind that was like, I have been having a big band show in Sweden for like, we were touring every city, and so, and it was one summer. It had been raining all summer, like hard raining cats and dogs, as they say, all summer. And the day when I came to play in a public park in Stockholm, it was the end of the summer, and it was the first day that it was sunshine in the whole summer. So the whole city came, and I had the public record. So, a little help from above
There
is
you
always
go.
good. And sunshine, and there I was, and there was like 50,000 people, and they hadn't been out in the whole summer, so they were screaming and shouting. I had like, so when I had the public record, so they called me from the castle and said, can you celebrate the king, because actually you had the public record. I was like, okay, play for the king. And there were like 20,000 people, and I played there at the castle, and then they called me from TV and said, we want you to be in Dancing with the Stars. So, I mean, I didn't ask to be in Dancing with the Stars. They just called me because my time had come to be there.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. It sounds like you're describing manifesting, but it was sort of manifesting without manifesting. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so I just have fun because I cannot go around and think that this gig was not good enough, and blah 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 blah. Every day is fantastic, and if I have it, I play for people, and people are the same. So
Yeah. So, one of the things that I've been asking all of the guests on my show regarding being on tour, being a professional musician, all of that stuff. What if you had to name 3 life hacks? Now, they could be gadgets, they could be things you've learned along the way, they could be anything. But what are 3 life hacks that you've picked up as a touring musician that you just can't live without now? Like, I am not leaving my doorstep without this thing, or I am not going on a stage without this in my mind. Whatever it is. What do you have 3 bits for our listeners?
oh, what? No, wow, no. uh, I actually don't have that in mind because I always have my luggage packed.
Uh-huh.
So I have a list like 3 trumpets, trombone, tap shoes. No, so that is just
Or maybe things that have made your
um
life easier, that's maybe someone could adopt a thing that you do or a thing that you've picked up.
I what I need is, I'm very happy in the moment, whatever I do, because me being in a good mood, like if I am like positive and feeling, whoa, I'm feeling so good, great vibes, not questioning or not asking like, oh, I need like the fantastic hotel, or like, no, I'm just happy in the moment. This is so infectious. So I make other people happy, and then because of the good vibes you feel, you do everyone do better, and everyone is like, forget every people forget their selfishness. We help each other, and we have fun, and so that is the most important thing. Always be in a good mood. So how do you do that? You can read books, listen to good music, talk with people that are supporting, and yeah,
So,
that is the only thing.
yeah, no, that's amazing. I think a lot of what performers struggle with, or what I hear fellow performers struggling with, is getting out of a bad mood or a bad mental place. Do you have any advice there? Like if you find yourself in just like a dark and stormy place, you're just like, I have things to do. I have to get to a positive place. How do you do that?
Okay, think of our heroes.
Ah,
Is there anyone of our heroes that didn't struggle to death in their life? Like, I think of my queen, like Billie Holiday. It's like, wow, she was struggling. And, I am sitting here and I have friends, like, I shall be so thankful. And, like, and every one of this, like, Django Reinhardt, he was outstanding guitar player, the most technical, and he only had three fingers.
yeah,
Like,
no
I
kidding.
mean, and if you think, okay, so you come to a place and there is only 50 people.
Hmm.
Okay, right. And the place where the Hot Club de Paris, it was the club where Django Reinhardt played. There were only 40 people. They only had 40 seats. So, I
Right?
mean, I'm 10 people more than on Django Reinhardt's concert.
There you go. There you go. So it sounds like what you're saying is that like all of these things are relative. It depends on how you
Everything
look at
is
them.
relative.
Everything is relative.
Yeah, everything is relative.
Gotcha.
But of course, I need to have a good relationship with my family, with my kids and my husband, and so that is very important.
Of
So,
course. So, what are you looking forward to most in 2026? What's next for you on your plate?
oh, that's a good question. I gonna do so. I have so much good vibes. Um, with my big band album. There was
Mhm.
so much good coming out of that. And actually, my tour with the Count Basie was very much founded in my big band album because I did it like a professional arranger, Michael Andrew, and we did it together. And we hired the best studio and the best musicians. And, we had so much fun.
Mhm.
And one more, a life hack that is more complicated.
Mhm.
And I go back to your last
No,
question.
please
Not this
do.
question. Yeah. Go out. Don't say no to a party. And that is so because the only thing you have done a show and you know what is you would just want to sit at home like
Right?
So go out because every I was out 2 days ago in Los Angeles. And first of all, because I came from Europe and I landed 3 o'clock from like I have traveled from Copenhagen to
Mm.
Los Angeles and I was jet lagged and everything. I said,
Mhm.
okay, do you want to go and see this show? And I was my first reaction, like my secret reaction was no.
I want
But
to
okay,
sleep.
I thought I want to sleep. I just want to be home. But my second thought was no. Say yes, and I went there. And I met the owner of this club, and he said, "Oh my God, you have to come here and have residency here." So technically, I ended up with a residency on that night. So
Oh my
go
gosh.
out, go out. Every time I go out, like, yeah, I'm conducting a symphony orchestra, and then I end up being a guest there, and we have like a whole project where I write symphony music and everything, only because I went to a restaurant. So
That's
go out.
amazing. I do have a
Mm.
nuts and bolts question for you. Like you said, you got this amazing big band arranger. I mean, did you hire the Basie band to be on the big band album, or did you hire a different set of studio musicians, or who's on the album?
So Michael Andrew was producer of it,
Ah, okay,
and I had written the arrangements except for a few, and he was making them professional.
okay,
He blew them up.
nice.
Yeah, great. And I had Scotty Barnard, solo featured guest, but there is no band like the Count Basie band. But
Yes.
it never entered my mind that we should do a collaboration. I was just thinking of Gunhild Carling big band, and I let Michael Andrew hire the musician, so he
Ah.
was the producer actually.
Yeah, that makes sense. So if you don't mind my asking, how did you fund that project? I think a lot of our listeners are DIY musicians. I'm a DIY musician. I'm funding everything myself. But how did you get such a huge project taken care of?
Yeah, I had the money, so I didn't know. Shall I buy my favorite sports car? which is Dodge Challenger purple. And
Oh, okay.
yeah, that's my favorite.
Okay.
Or
So I drive a
yeah,
blue Camaro. I can't be as cool as you.
no, I don't have this sports car. I found out that if I want this Challenger, I can rent one and
Ah,
go out for a little. I don't have to buy it,
it's true.
but I shall have a big band album. So
Ah,
yeah.
okay, okay, got
Mm.
you. Independently funded. That's excellent. That's awesome. So the last question that I ask everybody on the show is a little silly, but sometimes people have like really philosophical answers about this very silly question. If you were a flavor of ice cream, what kind of ice cream would you be, and why?
The only sweet, because I avoid sugar mainly, but chocolate. So I eat because I think it's very healthy
Uh
and
huh.
I love it. So that is what it would be, a chocolate.
Nice. Right on. All
Mm.
right. Well, that about does it for us. If you do you have any closing thoughts, perhaps, that you might want to share with the audience about playing jazz and making music or what have you?
No, uh, I sound a little boring here, but I say to jazz musicians that be true to jazz. Don't leave it, because jazz gives back to you, because it is a very, very delicate art form. And I don't know if anyone agrees with me, but this is what I think. And I also, you talked about if you can, did you call it? DIY.
DIY. Do it
Yeah,
yourself.
DIY. Do it yourself. Um, so when you invest in something, you get so much back. So a lot of people I talk with, they think investment must give back directly, exact, but that's not how it is. You spend your money, and suddenly things come from unexpectedly. So much come in. So there is something in that dare to do crazy projects. When you throw yourself out from like a trampoline or something, like you I don't know, but there come fantastic things
I love that. Dare
to
to do
you.
crazy projects. That's awesome. Well, thank
Yeah.
you.
Mm. Do it. No, dare it, do it.
Got
That's
it.
my
Dare
saying.
it. Do it. Writing that down right now.
Mm.
Well, thank you so much for spending your hour with us, especially in the midst of all of the crazy and on your first day back from tour. We really appreciate it. Um, and yeah, I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart for taking this interview. When Sean had mentioned that he was going on tour with you, I and that he was willing to give you my contact info, I was just over the moon. I was just like, oh my gosh, if we could line this up, that would be the most amazing thing. And it has been. So thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much. I had so much fun. You have so much positive vibes, and a lead trumpet player. That's cool. That's
Thank you.
super cool.
Well, I hope you guys had as much fun as I did conducting that interview while listening. That was an absolute joy, and I can't tell you how much fun I had. Gunhild, if you're listening, thanks again. That was an honor. At any rate, we are always sponsored by Hideaway Coffee of Fort Wayne, Indiana. That's HYDE Away Coffee of Fort Wayne, Indiana. And if you enter Rogue 10 in the checkout, you will get 10% off your favorite roast. And as always, give us a follow on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, Threads, all the places where you get your podcasts, and tell your friends. We'd love to have more listeners here at the Rogue Academic. I hope you found this as enjoyable as I did. Thanks so much, and have a great weekend.